As you can see, it is very late. Very, very late. I had no time to record before it was completely dark outside. I don't know where the day went. So anyway, we're trying to do this, and I hope the light is not completely off and all yellow. So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about my knitting life and my knitting adventures. My name is Isabelle, I am in Normandy, and as you can see it is very late because it's all dark outside and I'm not sure where the day went. I'm working a little bit again, so I think it's all went down that road. And today it's going to be a regular episode about my regular knitting adventures. I'm going to be talking about what I'm wearing, what I've been working on, what I have finished. And I know it's the second take because I forgot to press the record button. Ramses was on the table and it sort of distracted me and he was in my knits, so I forgot to press the record button. Anyway, if that kind of rambling is of some interest to you, because I'm not doing Vlogmas, this is just a regular episode. If that sounds good to you, please stay tuned. And Ramses is back. So first, what am I wearing? I am wearing my Gallant sweater that I knit with some Nutiden in Val and some mohair, silk mohair by Lang that one of you so generously gifted me, and Gallant sweater by Kadri. And so I've been talking a lot about this sweater in the past, so I have no ribbing and no curling at the bottom of my sleeve of my sweater and at the top of the sweater, and I'm wearing it with the matching little scarf that I made, so I may have as well go right away into the little scarf that I made, or show it to you, that I made with every single drop of the blue Nutiden. And some time ago I asked you which yarn I should pair it with because I had several options, and I decided to go with the pink Nutiden because it's the same gauge and it's the same thickness. And I'm going to be showing you the mohair from the Pyrenees was way too thick, two different gauge, so I decided to use the pink Nutiden that Caroline gave me. Okay, so first finished object, which is not the first one I finished since I've talked to you, but anyway, as I'm wearing it, or I was wearing it, I might as well start with that one. So it was my birthday cast on, the mini shawl club number 6, Twilly by Intermstein, and she gave me a code from her mailing list for my birthday, and I decided to knit one of these very popular little scarves. There are so many of them. Some of them are paid for, some of them are free. I even have one of my own. And to finish up all the blue Nutiden. And if you recall, last time I had asked you what you were thinking for me to be making the second half. A lot of you had said the black mohair, so I have it here and I swatched with it, and I will show you why I decided not to use it. So this mohair is much thicker. It's so old, maybe 25 years old or something like that, because I think I bought it after I came back from the US, so it's not, yeah, it may be 30 years old. Anyway, I have some kind of a poncho in that mohair that is very old, as old as this yarn, of course. So I swatched with it, and it's much chunkier than the Nutiden, and this is why I swatched, because I kind of thought maybe I will have a gauge issue. And of course I have a gauge issue if I show you the same number of stitches between the black and mohair and the blue nutiden, or the pink nutiden. It's that much more with the same number of stitches. So I would say it's maybe a fourth bigger for the gauge, and I should have changed the number of stitches, but there would not be the same number of repeats. So I decided, okay, and it's also much thicker than the nutiden. So I said, okay, it's not gonna work. The gauge is way too different, and it's not gonna work. So I decided to use the nutiden, and the only one I have mohair to pair with was the pink parallel, I think that's the name. So I kind of was in a hurry to cast off, and I did not make the pink as long as the blue. You see there is a couple repeats that are missing. It doesn't show, it doesn't really matter, because once I have it around my neck, so I made it long enough to have two rounds around my neck. And with the Blue Gallant sweater, I prefer to show most of the blue rather than most of the pink. But anyway, you see, I'm not sure these two colors go that well together, and I hope it won't be too yellow, because for now, as it's late, what I'm seeing is very yellow. I'll see what I edit, but I hope the colors are showing for you. But you see, if I do it that way, I prefer when the blue is showing rather than when the pink is showing. But anyway, it's double thickness around my neck. And also I can wear it the other way around if I want to show the pink with any other outfit. And I think it would go perfectly with the red nutiden that I am not ready to cast on, because I have not received the red mohair yet. But you see, I think it fits better, this blue sweater, if the blue is showing out. But anyway, a little scarf that is very comfortable around my neck, very soft, and I'm very happy I finished it. And I also finished all of the blue nutiden I had. Okay, next, the red scarf I made for my mother. Next finished object, even though it was finished before the shawl. And once again, I had asked you for advice, because I did not have enough to make a scarf long enough for this width. I should have thought about it and maybe cast on half of the stitches. That would have been enough to have a longer scarf. But anyway, many of you suggested I make a caul. So I decided, okay, that's a very good idea. I had not thought of it on my own. So thank you very much. So I turned it into a caul. I did not make a Moebius knot because, for two reasons. It was long enough to have the Moebius twist on it, but the inside of the lace is different from the outside. And even if you don't see it that much, because of the fuzziness, because of the mohair, because the yarn is very thin and I used bigger needles, it was visible to me once I was placing both sides next to each other, and I did not like it. So I knitted right side towards the right side, or rather wrong to wrong. The thing is, if I put it that way on the white background, the thing is you can see where I did sew it. It's much thicker and you can see it. But I feel okay with that. I hope my mother will be okay too. Because once you have it around your neck, it doesn't show. Even if you place it in the front. So I'm going to place it in the back first, because it's going to be, maybe she will be careful enough to place it in the back. And it's wide enough to place around your neck like this, to style it on your head like some kind of a hood. And this is also what I wanted, because after that she said, I want a beanie. So I said, okay, she can use it on her head, and she can, bunch it up in her coat and wear it that way. So if I place the seam in the front, where are you? You are here. So you can see it, maybe it's here. Once I wear it, even if it's in the front, I don't see it. Why? Or I don't see it much. Where is it? I don't even know. It's right in the middle, right here. Once you are wearing it, we don't see the seam. So I'm kind of okay with that. I'm feeling comfortable with that, and I think she's gonna love it. Anyway, I wore it for a little while when I had just finished it and blocked it. Yeah, I did aggressively block it. The little scarf in Nutiden, I just washed it and let it dry flat. This one I aggressively blocked with wires to open the lace, and so that the lace is very flat and showing, and lace needs to be aggressively blocked and open to open and show. So I did wear it for a little while to see if it was not too big, not too small, if it was okay, and she would, like it or whatever. And I think it's gonna be fine. I think she's gonna like it. It's very, very warm, very light, and this color is just magnificent. I can't wait to be knitting with the red knitted, and I can't wait to start any project with the red knitted. That, the same one of you who gave me or offered me the Val sent me. Okay, next finished object, my pair of socks, because I was procrastinating, choosing what to do with the second half of the little scarf. Knitting the red scarf, and I did not say, it was with self-made number of stitches, and I used one stitch from a stitch dictionary from Itomishida, the 250 Japanese stitch dictionaries, and it's number 17, if I recall correctly. Yes, number 17. So I will write on the screen when I'm talking about the scarf. So the scarf was a little more difficult. The lace is not difficult, but knitting with lace weight yarn on big needles with the lace motif. Anyway, and I was procrastinating because I did not know which second color to choose for my scarf, and I would not knit a lot for a long period of time on the scarf. So I finished the socks. I mean, I should have finished them so much sooner than that, because it took me just an evening to go from half of the flap to the tip of the toe. So I had done all the beginning of the sock and half of the flap when I was at a knitting session with my friends on a Sunday, and I just finished it. So I tried them on, so I washed them. I did not block them. I just left them dry that way. I tried them on, and the cuff is quite elastic. It's okay. I can put them on and everything. And I asked one of my sons about how he was feeling about the cuff on his sock, and he said it fits me, but it is at some point getting very stiff. And I thought that, okay, I'm going to look for another cast-on method for the next one that I'm going to be trying, because as I have not tried their own socks, I could not figure out that one point for the cast on when you do a sock top down. Before I did some for myself. So these are leftovers from the socks I knit for my sons. And tomorrow I'm going to Paris. So if I have enough time, I think I'm going to go to Lille Vessel to try to get some nice sock yarn for myself. Maybe if I have enough time. Anyway, I will talk about that just after, when I talk about the next cast on. I realized that my method of casting on was the German twisted one, but I'm doing it differently. But the yarn and the needle have the same travel and the same movement. So what I did something different to try to have the first cast on row to be even more stretchy. Anyway, I haven't been wearing these ones because, of course, I wanted to be showing them to you. And when I was at the knitting cafe, everyone was saying, "Oh, these are just great. We would not have thought making such bright socks." And I have to say that I'm taking a lot of inspiration from Summerlee and all of the socks designs. But now I have my own recipe for the number of stitches. I do 64 stitches on 2.25 millimeter needles, and I know the number of rounds for the flap and the decreases for the gusset and for the toe. So now I'm following my own pattern, but I will link down below the 2 sock recipes and the 2 patterns I used from her to get some inspiration and some numbers before I got to my own way of knitting socks. Okay, next, and before I forget, I told you just before that I was going to Paris tomorrow. We're on a Monday, so when you see the video, I will have come back. I will have been back for a couple days already. Anyway, my next finished object is another water bottle. So I now have 4 of them. I still have 2 to make. And this one went a bit easier because I think the yarn was a bit thinner than the yarn I used for the other ones. So I'm still using that white acrylic yarn from my mother's stash. I'm using some other yarn from her stash. I have no idea which yarn these were. These are just little balls. So I just went by the colors, and I started with, I guess, the same kind of color that is here, but in the middle I used another one once the ball was running out. And I'm holding 3 strands together. And so anyway, that's the hot water bottle. I'm using Leslie Friends pattern numbers, and I'm casting on more stitches, even though I'm using 8 millimeter needles the same way she does. So maybe either she's using a chunkier yarn than me, or I'm knitting a little bit more tight. I don't know, but anyway, I casted on 4 additional stitches from her own recipe. So that's 1 on each side, and front and back, and on either side. And I adjusted the number of decreases to have the same number of stitches for the neck. And here you have the neck. And I did not fold it outside, I fold it inside because I think it looks a bit better. So another water bottle, I still have 2 to make. And I started this one at some point in the afternoon after I had a snack or something. And I finished it before going to bed. So I'm kind of getting the hang of it. I hope 2 more days and I will have the 2 additional ones I need. Okay, next, my work in progress. I have 2. Actually, I have 3. But I won't talk about reduplicate because I think that now I have enough headspace to be going back to figure out how to interpret the pattern in the back, the points that were giving me trouble understanding. So I think that now I have enough headspace for that. But anyway, the first work in progress I'm going to be showing you, you haven't seen either of those, is the one that I'm making with the yarn from Terroirland that my friend bought for me. I paid her back in the Knit It festival because I could not go this year. And it's a marled yarn between the natural and the brown yarn that they have. Both of them are undyed. And so I have enough, and I will have way than enough, because this is my second skein, to make a vest. So I looked for a vest, and I settled on L'Inséparable Yvette, which is it's in French, I'm sorry. But L'Inséparable Yvette is from La Libellule Bleue. And it's been published because it was the right gauge. So I thought, at least I can do that. It's a free pattern. You can check it for yourself. And it was published in 2021, in January 2021. And what I liked a lot is that on the shoulders, you would have some kind but it's not. I know it's not. Like a saddle shoulder, the same kind of shoulder as I made for the old field sweater, and I like very much the fit. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna try to come up with my own recipe because I think I can do that. I'm just going to be following that because it's like a saddle shoulder where you increase for the body, for the front and the back, and not for the shoulders. And once you hit the tip of the shoulder, if you are making a sweater, you start to increase on the sleeve side. So I said, okay, it's a nice thing. And it's also a v-neck, and quite a deep v-neck. And I was thinking all of my vests are round neck, so I don't like v-necks much, but I think for a vest it can be very nice with a shirt underneath or a dress or something like that. So I said, okay, let's go. So I've knit the first ball. So I've done the front, the back, I've joined in the round, and now that I have knit the first ball, I started the second ball by doing my first armhole. So I'm not finished, of course, my first armhole. And so I will do the second armhole, and I will do the neck opening before I go back to the body. What I have to say is that in this pattern, I think there is a lot of copy-pasted portions that did not take into account that some of the instructions were for the right front and they are just copy-pasted for the left front. And also, at first, the placement of the increases also for either side were, I think, copy-pasted. Because at first you start by casting on stitches for the shoulder and a bit of the front, for the back, and the other shoulder, and you knit flat. And you see here, there is that little saddle shoulder that has no increases. And when I started to knit, so I faithfully followed the pattern. After a while, I was thinking, but it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right from what I understood. So I read it again, and of course, it was not right. So I made a drawing, a line, so it's that way for you. I made a line. I placed all my stitch markers, all the beginning of the stitch counts, and where I do each left or right increase regarding of where the marker is, and that way it went all good. So you first start until you finish the shoulders, then you start with one of the fronts. I'm not sure which one, let's say that one. It's a deep V, and then you pick up and you continue for the left front or the other front. And once again, there were problems because the instructions were the same when for each front there have to be mirror images. And then you continue for the back. You knit just straight for the back until you have the same length as the front. You join in the round, casting on some stitches, and then you knit round and round and round until you are ready to make the border, and I'm still pondering whether I will make a split border between the front and the back or not. So I think this is why I want to make the arm openings and the neck openings to see how the vest is falling on my body if I have a shirt or a dress underneath, and decide if I want an opening between the front and the back or not. Anyway, other than that, I love this marred effect, and this marling, when it's marred in the skin, is much more homogeneous than when you marl two yarns together by knitting two strands from two different balls, because sometimes you can see a lot of different, here I was holding the knitted and the mohair. From a distance it's okay, but from some spots, here you see more of the mohair because you have a clear patch with the white silk that you see here, and then at some points it's a bit darker because you don't see the white silk strand from the mohair. Anyway, this marling is much more homogeneous and it's really, really beautiful. I like it a lot, and these 100-gram balls, 400 meters, were €9. Very inexpensive. And it's a beautiful yarn, so it's fingering. So I'm knitting on 3mm needles, and I'm making here the border on 275, I think, millimeters. So 3mm needles, it doesn't go that quickly, but after a while, it's just run and run and run and knit and knit and knit. So it's a very relaxing knit. So once I will have finished the neck and both arm openings, I will go back to knitting the round, and it's just going to be a very, very easy knit. Okay, next, my new sock that I've been just casting on to try on a new cast on method, and this is what I'm going to take to Paris tomorrow. And this is why I wanted to cast on before and try and see if I need, some kind of a recipe, watch videos, and decide which kind of cast on I'm going to be making. So I'm going to be using the very bright green for the cuff and for the toe. And I'm going to be striping what is left from, I'm not sure I recall which one of my sons, of the green. And there is a much clearer portion of the green inside. So it's going to go from a darker green to a clear green. And I'm going to be striping with the pink. I want to use that pink. I think that pink in socks, it's really funny. I like it a lot. So this is what I'm going to be bringing tomorrow in the train. I have a 2-hour train back and forth. And what I did, when I looked at stretchy cast on for socks, I realized that my cast on method was the same as what is called the stretchy twisted German cast on or something like that, even though I'm not doing at all the same thing as you can see on the videos, but my yarn and my fingers are doing the same movement. So I think I've been doing that for a long time, and this is the one that my grandmother taught me, so I never questioned this cast on method. So what I did, I'm not sure this is going to be visible or not, I placed 2 needles to cast on my stitches, and then I just started to knit. So I'll see if this is more stretchy, but I think it's already way more stretchy than my regular cast on, and at least you won't feel, or I won't feel, the point where if I stretch more, it's really tight. So the stretchiness of my previous cast on is enough for my sons or I to, put the socks over my heel and wear them, and it's not tight on the ankle or on the calf for them, because mine were shorties. But anyway, this is what I'm going to be testing. I'm going to be testing striping. And as we are talking about socks, as I said, if I have enough time tomorrow, I will go to Lille Vessel and I will try to buy some nice sock yarn, maybe in the blue, because all of these colors I'm using are the ones that my sons and I had chosen to be knitting the socks for them. And there is no blue because it's not in their own color ranges and what they do, but I think I would like to buy maybe a speckled, heavily speckled blue yarn or white and blue yarn, just to knit a stockinette sock to have a very nice, beautiful fabric due to the way the speckles are. And I think I would like a more tonal one to be able to make some kind of lace work. Of course, I have tonal ones, so this is the green, and I still have, so that's the leftover from one pair of socks I did for my sons. And I think I have some orange also. I have the same quantity. So what is left from my shorty, I think if I make stripes or other things, or if I do a different color for cuff, maybe heel and toe, I have enough for a longer pair. If I just used one color for the sock and I want some lace or something, I think I have enough for a pair of shorties. So anyway, maybe I want to try to be buying nice sock yarn from Lille Vessel, because I think the other stores that I know of are far away from Paris, from the heart of Paris, and this is where I am going to be. And I know that La Bien-Aimée also has a pop-up shop, but I have to choose. I can't do both. So I think I will have more choice at Lille Vessel. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe maybe I will end up going to La Bien-Aimée, but they are not very far away from each other, but I'm not sure I will have enough time for both. So anyway, I'm thinking going to Lille Vessel, and then we'll see what I'll end up doing tomorrow. Okay, so that's gonna be it for today. Maybe I can give you a little life update, because in 2 days from now it's gonna be the 3 months landmark from my surgery, my total hip replacement surgery. And as many of you have commented, I am feeling much better. I don't think I'm feeling 100%, but I'm feeling much better. And what is left really right now is some kind of pain, as always, in the thigh, but that will take a long time to be going away, I think. And the fact that I'm easily tired, I will see with reduplicate if my knitting mind is back or not. Once I get back to it, I think later in the week or next weekend, so the weekend after you see this video. But I do feel much better. Tomorrow I'm going to Paris, both for work, and you see I will have a little time to do other things, other leisure things. I have 2 shops I want to visit, one of them being Lille Vessel. I may not end up being able to do any of that, but anyway, I have enough time to go shopping a little bit in Paris, and that will be the first test for me if I can, stand a whole day and walk and be in public transportation, be in the train and be with people and talk and do things. That's gonna be one real life test for me. The thing is, you're gonna tell God, I scheduled an appointment with my surgeon just before Christmas. Fortunately, he had one availability because my other hip is starting to hurt me. So today it's better. Yesterday it was okay. 3 days ago it was not okay at all, and I was starting to limp. And I don't want to be limping on my good hip, or the one that has had surgery, that has had total replacement. And I know from experience, I know the pain first. I know from experience it doesn't magically go away. It's never going to be going away. So I want to have his advice. And if he says we need to schedule another surgery, I will say okay, because I don't want to be in the same situation I was just before I got this surgery. I was in so much pain for so long, over a year. I don't want to be feeling that once more. So maybe he will say you don't have enough pain for me to perform the surgery. We need to wait where you are in more pain. So maybe I will have to tell him a bit more pain than what I really feel, because if his schedule is the same, he won't have any availability before May, for example, at the earliest. And I think May would be a very good moment for me, because I will have finished most of my teaching, maybe some exams, but my colleagues can do that for me, and I can prepare everything in advance, and they will take care of the exams. So I think it's going to be a better situation, because I won't be missing any teaching. This semester I've been missing all of my teaching, of course. I can tell you how hectic it was in some of the classes. The ones I'm organizing and taking care of and everything were okay, because I had all prepared in advance. I had people to replace me and everything. But I do teach in other people's classes just because it's the way it is, and it's been like that for a long time, and they knew I was not there, and they did not anticipate to find someone to replace me. It was a big mess. So if I can sort of be away when all the classes are finished, I think I would feel much better in my head. Anyway, this is why I'm starting to work a little bit again, even though I had said I won't be working. I'm not working for the people who have asked me to be working. That will wait until January. But I'm working on some other personal things, and I think it's good for me to go back slowly into the working mode when I don't have much pressure. And we'll see what happens tomorrow, how my hip is going to behave. I know the pain, and I know it's not going to be magically going away or being quiet. I know it only can be worse. So anyway, I scheduled the appointment. I could have one appointment 2 weeks from now, and which is a miracle, because he usually has a 2 to 4 months gap between the moment you can schedule an appointment. So that's good, and we'll see what he has to say. Other than that, I mean, I'm not, as I said, I'm not back to normal life, completely normal life, because I can sleep on the side that I prefer, which is the side that I had the surgery. Little things like that. But overall, I did walk about an hour on Sunday because I was feeling good on the hip. The day before was bad, and I said no. We have some kind of a little bit of a sun, so I need to go out and get some sun, and I did walk for an hour. So my hip was quiet. When I came back home, it was, soon enough. I could not have gone much further than that, but I'm very happy, and yesterday I was not feeling any pain. So that's good, and I know that now. As I said, there is no miracle, so I need to take care of that. And right now, in my head, the sooner the better. It's really funny how our mind work, and how we can keep the good sides of things, because I do recall how I was just after the surgery and all the different events that happened and that put me in a difficult place, prevented me from working, as soon as the surgery was performed and everything. I do recall all the pain and all the complications and all the different situations. But overall, what I see is that now I can walk on this hip that has been hurting me so much for so long without pain. So on 1 hour, and I guess I can try 1.5 hours next time I go out to be walking. And but it's funny how, and it's good, I guess, how we can hold on to the positive things, even though I know if I go back to surgery, I will have to cross that kind of difficult timing all over again. And if people tell you in 2 weeks you're going to be okay, I'm telling you, make that 2 months. In your head, think about you will need 2 months before you feel about normal again and walk about the same way you were walking before. And if it happens sooner, good. It's really positive, because people had told me, 2 weeks and it's going to be okay. No, it was not okay, and it took me over 2 months to be okay. And now at the 3 months landmark, I spend most of my time not thinking about my hip. So that's good, because I haven't been on the bicycle again. I'm very afraid to be falling, so I'm not riding the bike again. I'm not doing long walks. What I want to be doing is also having a backpack and trying to walk with a backpack, which could be a bit heavier. I would just put water bottles into the backpack to see if I can walk with a backpack. But anyway, 2 months was the magic number for me, and I think we need to be patient. And I was maybe very impatient and in demand to be feeling better sooner. Anyway, now that's here, that I am feeling better, that you could see it, because many of you have commented, so nicely commented. I may be going back to the same thing again, that I need to be having another surgery. We'll see in 2 weeks, but I don't think the outcome will be without another surgery. Anyway, I hope you can hang on to your knitting to get you through all the difficult times and all the crazy times we are living in. I hope your knitting is bringing you much joy and happiness. One stitch after one stitch, one row after one row, and one row giving you one project. And that you can infuse your knitting with positive things so that you can receive it back. And if you can't do it for yourself, do it for other people. Just say, okay, I'm going to be thinking about that person, and I'm going to place joy and happiness into my own stitches for them. In the process, you'll be building some joy and happiness for yourself. So I thank you very, very much for being here with me. I thank you for all the nice comments that you are leaving. I really love when we are talking in the comment section. It makes you feel very real, because I'm going to say it again. I'm alone in my home talking to my phone. So, it's when we talk in the comment section, this is where you become very real. And I really do appreciate and I do love that. So I thank you a lot for being here with me, and I will see you next time. 1, 2, 3, 4, top. Knutiden, because it's, and I'm going to be showing you the mohair from the Pyrenees was way too